So you've been going at a blistering pace here in California and
Yes.
elsewhere. How you holding up personally?
I'm feeling great. I get a lot of inspiration and a lot of energy from the very large turnouts that we're seeing, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 people. We have now spoken at rallies to over 150,000. By the time we're finished, I think we'll have spoken to 250,000 people from one end of this state to the other. And I'm just very gratified by the kind of support we're seeing.
You may have heard that a federal judge in San Francisco denied the voting rights challenge. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not happy about it. I think what we want to do is make it as easy as possible for people to participate in the political process. I think here in California there is some confusion among independents about how they can participate in the Democratic Party primary. I would have liked to have seen them get that opportunity, more time to get that opportunity. On the other hand, I am very impressed and delighted that we have seen a huge voter increase in voter turnout, in voter registration. There has been, I think, over 1 million people this year registering to vote in California, one of the largest increases in voter registration that has taken place in recent history. Many of those people are young people who want to be part of the political process. I think that's a good thing.
There's a very good likelihood that Secretary Clinton will clinch the nomination in terms of the number of delegates in New Jersey before the polls have even closed.
No, that is not accurate. No, she won't. Neither she nor I will have received enough pledged delegates to get the number of delegates we need to receive the nomination. She will be dependent on superdelegates who have said they will support her, and that's fine. But superdelegates do not vote until the convention in late July. So she is going to have to make sure that she holds on to those superdelegates. I believe that a number of superdelegates are going to take a hard look at reality, and that is poll after poll, national polls, polls here in Vermont, state polls all over the country, show that I run much stronger against Donald Trump than does Hillary Clinton. In fact, I'm winning states where she is losing to Trump. And I think some of those delegates may rethink their commitment so that we have the strongest Democratic candidate going forward.
And speaking of Mr. Trump, what do you think about his comments with the press yesterday, and what scares you most about his candidacy?
You don't have enough time for me to list all the things that scares me. I mean, he comes here to California. Everybody in California knows there's a drought. I'm a member of the Senate Environmental Committee. All the scientists agree that climate change is real and caused by human activity. Mr. Trump does not agree, does not believe there's a drought here in California. I mean, that is so absurd and so beyond comprehension that somebody running for president of the United States would hold those views, not to mention his bigotry against Mexicans and Latinos and Muslims and women. I am quite confident that no matter who the Democratic nominee is, Donald Trump is not going to become president of the United States.
But aren't you concerned that no matter what he says, how outlandish it may be, it doesn't seem to matter with his supporters at all?
Well, that's a good position, but I think there has not yet been the focused opposition to him that I, for one, would provide. I think once we get him up there and once we expose his hypocrisy, his dishonesty, I have to say this, and I'm not happy to say that, he lies every single day. I mean, he comes up with these statements that are not based on reality. And once we can expose that on a regular basis, I think the American people will understand that by temperament and by ideology, this man should not become president.
We good? We got one more? Okay. And speaking of Mr. Trump, what about your candidacy makes you a better opponent for him?
Well, from a practical political point of view, Hillary Clinton gets a lot of Democratic support. I get a lot of Democratic support. But I get far more independent support. And it turns out that independents, there are more independents in this country who are out there than there are Democrats and Republicans.
But won't those independents turn for Hillary if the other choice is Trump?
According to some of the polls, that is not necessarily the case. I mean, who can predict the future? I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone in November. But right now, we are running much, much stronger with independents than is Secretary Clinton. And one of the reasons for that is you're looking at the longest-serving independent member of Congress in the history of this country.
Thank you, Senator. Good luck. All right, take care.
Thanks for that, Mr. Spiller.
Thank you, sir.